Now that's the thing. We haven't found the tin box yet. I don't know where it is.
This place is not covered with... An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book.
So we don't know what lived there yet. We haven't found it. Like I said, look, there's 2 glasses, and Peter Cairns' tobacco pouch, confirmed as his, was there. And the notebook from Nelligan was found having been dropped in the blood after the death, because the top wasn't covered in blood but the bottom was, or at least the face down part was. It was technically the top, but yeah, it landed top down, blood on the top, nothing on the back, so yeah. And he said he lost it at a hotel. So the only way it could have got there is if Peter Cairns took it, or if Hurtley took it. But why would either of them have found his notebook at the hotel? Nelligan's not strong enough to skewer the guy, even with a lucky throw. Oh, it doesn't give me enough. It's like there's more questions I'd like to ask first, that if I was Sherlock Holmes I would go and ask them to pick a bit more of their story apart before forming conclusions. I don't feel like there's enough to actually give us a proper conclusion yet. And again, when you see these little highlights here, look, all the extra things, there's 2 here that we don't have. We don't have everything, but the game says we do. It's almost like we are missing something else. She's still sobbing, so...
Leave me alone, please.
Okay, right.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
I've got nowhere else I can actually go. So we know that Peter Carey tried to conceal the murder of John Nelligan's father, and we know that Patrick Cairns knows about it. He'd observed Peter Carey throwing the man overboard, and the man had been saved from the sea. Only the previous night, the man was probably, well, obviously Joshua Nelligan. They took a tin box from him that has all the stocks and bonds in it that would have saved him from bankruptcy. Cairns is a professional harpooner. Like many sailors, he's a heavy smoker and his yellow fingers indicate it. We know therefore he was at the cabin because we found his tobacco pouch there. There was romantic correspondence between Liam Hurtley and Judith Carey found in a small wood box hidden in the garden shed. According to Hurtley's letter and by his own words, he did something at the spot where the garden tools are kept, which we know now is the hidden stuff. Stranger arrested by the police. That He was a former soldier who left the military after being wounded, now lives a quiet life working as a gardener, probably at Woodlands Lee, so we know about him, and his boots match, so all that just ties to the fact that he's a gardener. And they may have been just hiding that fact. You know, Judith Carey may have been hiding that fact because she didn't want him to be a suspect. Like, oh, of course, if they know that you have affection for me and I for you, then thus you are the murderer, right? Sometimes innocent people lie. Because they don't want to get railroaded. Letter C's from Hurtley, a portion of the text, yet we know that. A number of bond certificates with Nelligan's father disappeared when Peter Carey's cabin in the box, we know about that. Maybe him being a gardener is a guise, and all that info plus evidence was planted. Maybe. How are you today, Deus Ex Mundus? Good to see you. There's just not enough information for me to really... It really comes down to guesswork at this point. Yeah, you appreciated the pun. You know what? Actually, you get a little drum snare as well. Nice pun. It was planted. So yeah, that Black Peter was the worst of them. He was a liar and violent, swinging fists around. He was a tyrant, not much of a captain. At least not as good as Great Roger. Why would he be drinking with the guy then? You know? I'm glad to see your efforts bearing fruit. There you go, you get another one for that. Well done, keep them coming. Yeah, why would he be drinking with that guy? There was intent in his going there that night. I still think that Nelligan conspired with Cairns. I'm convinced of it. But it's not an option, apparently.
My archive. I can always consult with it. My archive.
Okay, I can't look at any of this stuff.
My archive. I can...
You met Patrick Cairns, the harpooner?
She's still there. Oh.
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Does feel like we're missing something. Feels like we're missing a couple of clues. See, even if Cairns found Nelligan's notebook... Alright, bear with me on this theory. If Cairns found Nelligan's notebook, so he did lose it, Nelligan's innocent, right? He will see the initials on it, but he didn't know the name of the person that they lifted out of the water that day over by Norway in August in 1883. He didn't know that guy's name, and the guy just got thrown overboard. And he knows that Black Peter kept that strongbox, that little tin strongbox. So he can assume something valuable is inside it. Maybe he's fed up of no longer, you know, no longer being able to find work and wanted some money. But he didn't look like a guy... I mean, he was ruminating over how poor he was, so he's not got the strongbox, right? Okay, that's kind of blown that idea out of the water. But I was going to say, even if he got that notebook with all, like the ledger with all the bond numbers in, he wouldn't know what to make of that. He wouldn't even know that it's like, oh, this must be related to the thing that happened all those years ago. How is he going to put the two together? He's never met Nelligan. That's why I fancy the idea that Nelligan and Cairns work together. Nelligan goes to him and says, help me. You know, gets the story off of him. And then says, we can both be rich. I'll give you some of the money if you help me get revenge for my father. That's kind of what I think really happened, but I can't seem to get that. So we got a feat of strength. Let's just say he went back for his notebook again. I really don't think Hurtley has anything to do with this. I think he's a red herring. Nelligan had motive. Pouch proves guilt. See, that's the thing. Nelligan has motive. Invalidates Pouch proving guilt. I don't think it does. Which means Nelligan got a lucky throw. Oh. Yeah, Cairns is innocent and Nelligan's guilty. I don't believe that's the case. Let's work back from this, actually. Maybe, can we link the other two together instead? So he went looking for the papers, like he said. He didn't realise his notebook was even there. It's potentially possible. It's a feat of strength. Lucky throw or not, he didn't have the strength for it. Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't think he worked on his own. You know, but I don't think he worked with Hurtley either. You know? Then again, Hurtley's a former soldier. He could have had the strength for it. And they could have still gotten the story from Cairns. But why would... maybe they planted the tobacco pouch. They could have done that. The tobacco pouch could just be a plant. But all we've got is pouch proves visit or guilt. It doesn't prove a visit. So, this was desperate jealousy. Let's work on the idea that Nelligan is innocent. He has motive. Pouch proves guilt. Doesn't gel together either. So Holmes can't conceive of a notion that these two work together. Okay, so that's not the case. I don't think it was either. So we're back to that, which means Hurtley has motive. Which means we have a lucky throw and Hurtley's guilty, so it couldn't be a feat of strength for Hurtley as well. The game doesn't believe, or the game is telling us that Hurtley couldn't have done this with a feat of strength. What if we try that? No, that doesn't gel together. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure there's no other stuff that we haven't found yet. Because, again, when you see these outlines show up here, look, it makes you think there's more that we haven't found yet. So if Nelligan had motive, and he went back to retrieve his notebook, not find the papers, therefore this became a feat of strength between two people, not a lucky throw. We have a possible conspiracy. And there are two murderers. If it were a lucky throw, does that work? No, that blows that out of the water. Okay. So this is in, like, one of the outlines that shows up here, though. Looks like one of these, like a double. We've only got a single there, so there must be more to it. There's got to be more we haven't found, which is weird to me. What if there were 3 murderers? No, the game doesn't like that idea. They all did it. Well, I don't fancy Nelligan's the killer all on his own. I'm ruling that out. So it's either a conspiracy between the two, but that means that Hurtley's the one that knew about the ledger. He could have known that from the wife, how they've got their money. And any of them could have spoken to Peter Cairns and got the other side of the story that we just got. The pouch just proves he's visited, okay. See, I don't believe Hurtley did this just on his own, out of a fit of jealousy. Because the money was gone as well. And how does Nelligan's notebook fit into this? Nelligan had to be there. I don't think he lost it at a hotel. Hurtley wouldn't have just come across that again, because Cairns wouldn't have known, Hurtley wouldn't have known, right? They wouldn't have been able to make that link between this notebook they found with all these weird numbers on it and how Peter Carey has his fortune. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. Exactly. So it's not possible that Nelligan did it on his own, not possible that Hurtley did it on his own, but together they could have. This just proves a visit, but I still don't like that idea. And whoever did this took the money from the strongbox. There's also the possibility that young Nelligan found the strongbox and dropped his notebook after he went there after the death. He could have gone there after the killing and dropped his notebook. And this was just all about love and a lucky throw. Because if he was the gardener, why would he have run away? He had reason to be there. I also don't like the fact that he just visited one day for the sake of it, right? But he's clearly not rich. So he could have killed him in self-defense. But if it was 2 murderers, let's look at the options. So for 2 murderers, John Hopley Nelligan and Liam Hurtley conspired together to murder Peter Carey. Nelligan's motive was revenge for Carey's theft. Hurtley's motive was jealousy for the love of Carey's wife. So, who do we pin the instigation? Nelligan is the instigator. Liam Hurtley and John Nelligan are guilty of a heinous premeditated crime. Let them be punished by the law. Nelligan was the instigator, Hurtley the accomplice. Well, Nelligan was hunting down, you know, his father's missing bonds. Hurtley is the instigator. I don't think is likely, because he would have needed to know Nelligan and gone to him anyway. As like, oh, you want in on this too? Cool. But as the gardener, he could have found Nelligan sniffing around and grabbed him by the ear and, you know, questioned him, and then got like, oh, I've seen an opportunity. So that could be a case. Liam Hurtley and John Nelligan are guilty of a heinous premeditated crime and blah blah blah. Hurtley was the instigator and Nelligan was following his lead. I don't like that, though. Okay, so is there a solid connection between the two, though? That's the thing. No, but there's no connection between any of them. None of them have anything that kind of links them to someone else. So, this was flirting. He's innocent. Let's just look at all the possibilities and talk about them. He was looking for papers all along. He may have found them. This is where I'm going with this. And thus he's innocent. He may have dropped his notebook and he just lied about having lost it at a hotel, which could be bullshit. Which means that it was a single person. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards that. So here's what I'm thinking with this. So, Nelligan, he went, as he said, looking for the stolen papers. He went looking for the bonds. He dropped his notebook, and he lied about it to try to absolve himself. Like, oh, I thought I lost it at the hotel. Bullshit, I think, but I think he went back looking for the notebook. Actually, no, because this theory says he's gone back looking for the papers, so he would be going back looking for the notebook. Which blows his innocence out of the water because he would have dropped it in the blood. Shit. Because I was going to say Nelligan got the paperwork, he found the papers, but he went in the cabin after the killing, and then he dropped his notebook without realising it. And then he realised and went back for it. Because we haven't found the strongbox with the paperwork in it, have we? So that means he would be looking for papers. This is the thing. Where are the bonds? I need to know where they are. Who has them? Cairns wouldn't have them. Because he says he's poor. Well, he would have them now and he wouldn't be poor anymore. So... yeah. God, I am so confused. He wouldn't act on the bonds knowing that he was under investigation. True. I mean, he's got to play dumb to anyone around him. So why did... I mean, maybe he went there that night. I don't know, maybe he did find the ledger, but he wouldn't know what to make of it. He killed Peter Carey, but the murder was not premeditated. It was self-defense against an armed and irrational drunken sailor. Possibly. Tempted to say don't overthink it, but we're beyond that point. I know, I'm sorry. I'm spinning my wheels on this. It's just that I wish the game... I remember this being a thing now. Every case stops short of you being able to gain more information that would help you. And it's like, make a guess. And it's like, ugh. I just want to get it right. No, but none of them feel right. That's the thing. This doesn't either. I can't understand why Patrick Cairns went and had a drink with Peter Carey that night and then killed him. I don't know why. I don't know what his motive was. He doesn't have a motive. Because we have no proof that he knew about the bonds. That would have been his motive, but we have nothing to link him to knowing about the bonds, other than knowing what happened several years ago. But he didn't know what was in the box. So maybe he found out. Maybe Nelligan was running around asking questions and he put two and two together and then went to go steal them. That's possible. And like you said, we can't link the other two together. They've got no affiliation. We don't know that they know each other, so That means one person did it. Nelligan's not strong enough to do it on his own. I don't think Huntley would have done it anyway. There's probably some obscure throwaway comment from an NPC that you heard but didn't register as significant, but it's the key to the whole thing. Probably, yeah. And that is a thing in this game. So these are the conclusions that we can get. So it's either Hurtley, Nelligan, Cairns, or Nelligan and Hurtley. It's weird that the game wants to put the two of them together, but it doesn't want to put Cairns with anybody. Just because he's capable of doing it on his own doesn't mean to say he didn't conspire. Okay, chat logs. Okay, let's try that again. That did not open up the chat logs. Why is it doing this? There we go, now it's doing it. When all else fails, choose C. So this was our interrogation of Hurtley. Told the police he has nothing to say, not even to the police. We're not the police. Suspect in a murder case, it's ridiculous. Could you tell me who you are? Is Hurtley? That I can tell you, but you're not getting any more than that. So he was very reticent, right? And the dude's name is Cairns with a C at the beginning. Oh. So what were we doing at Woodman's Lee? He's never been there, so he lied about that. Again, though, innocent people do lie to protect themselves because they're worried about false conclusions being drawn. That whole innocent people have nothing to hide is nonsense. That's too rational for someone panicking, you know? You keep going back to that conclusion. I do, but I don't like it just on its own, because I can't understand why Cairns went and had drinks with a man he despised. And we have no link to him knowing about the strongbox containing bombs. That's the problem. That's where I'm. If we had a link that made him realise that, if he told us, oh, I know what he's got in that box, though, you know, then yeah, I can understand it. But after 7 years, he suddenly decides to go and kill him to steal the bombs. It doesn't add up. Not unless he found more information out, i.e. from Nelligan, and they went together to do it. With Cairns acting as the follow-along and Nelligan the instigator. So we know that his boot prints were at the cabin. He still denied that he was there. Then eventually he found out because yes, he's the gardener, and he's like, okay, so he caves. Yes, he's the gardener, went to get his tools. What did you hide? What are you talking about? And then we find out from the wife, oh, but, you know, he actually hid the correspondence, the letters. It's a lockbox. Who keeps a lockbox with nothing valuable in it? Yeah, I mean, he could have just stole it anyway, without really knowing what it was. Then how did Nelligan's notebook get there? If he never got in to begin with, that's the other thing. If we believe that, then the game would have us believe that Nelligan was actually looking for that box, therefore he'd never been there. Which means his notebook had to get there somehow, which means Cairns took it in with him. And we've got no information at all about how he came into possession of the notebook. We don't even ask... If we could ask Nelligan, which hotel did you lose it in? And he said, oh, I was staying in a room at the Sea Witch. Oh, then, you know, I know. But I don't know that. That's the problem, right? I mean, he says he's cutting fish as well. That's his job. He cuts fish down on the docks, like cleaning fish.